You know what the baby did to me? It made me cautious. Like,
Yeah?
like, I don't know. I had motorcycles before the baby. And then afterwards, it's like, I don't know if Amanda, my responsibility, should be driving around on a, sport bike or something. And then, I don't know, just, I think Kyle sometimes feels it on my behalf. Like, we talk about, God, I keep wanting to throw a Molotov cocktail at a propane tank with a hole in it, and the propane's, like, squirting everywhere. And he's like, Woody, that's just not safe, and you shouldn't be doing that.
Or the plane. You're always like, I could get one of those ultralight planes and land it right in. I'm just like, Woody, let's pool our money and get a safe plane. Like, this ultralight business, like, you've got responsibilities. You're talking about getting into, like, a skeleton of aluminum.
Yeah, the go-kart of planes.
The go-kart of planes. Yeah, fuck that. No.
That's
Get a
funny.
real plane.
For the longest time, I thought Kyle might be a crazy person because of the video that you posted. I think it's the first video you ever had with a flamethrower. And it looked insanely unsafe the way that you were handling it.
100%.
Yeah.
Very unsafe. Yeah. I talked to the guy last week. He's coming this week. We're filming some stuff. I talked to him a week or so ago. It was the guy who had provided the flamethrower for that day. And I was like, dude, because it's been years since I've seen him. I was like, what was the deal with the flamethrower? I was like, I was terrified at the time. And still looking back, I was like, was that safe? He's like, well, mostly. Like, you weren't going to explode, but it was dripping bad. It was leaking everywhere.
It was dripping everywhere.
Why didn't somebody fix the leak?
I went to Kyle's, it's not his house, but it's near his house, and there was a flamethrower there. And I'm like, dude, a flamethrower. He's like, nah, I don't want to. That's not something you do without getting paid. That's no interest.
It's miserable to shoot. It's like standing next to a furnace.
Yeah,
it's exactly like putting your head in the oven. Like, if you ever open like a really hot 400 or 500 degree oven and just like, oh, that's unbearable. It's like that every time you pull the trigger. As long as you're holding the trigger, it's not fun. Not fun.
How long can you just hold the trigger down on one of those things? Like, how quick will it run out?
It's got the one I was shooting was like a Vietnam era one, and it was loaded up with napalm, and it had maybe 25 seconds, 30 seconds worth of go juice, of like solid.
How long could you hold down the trigger before it was just unbearable and you had to stop?
I don't know. You could go back and watch the video. I probably held it as long as I could. I know there's parts where I'll like release and like take a step or two forward, and like I'm happy for those, like that respite of not being. The hair was gone off my hands.
Took a step or two forward to walk away from the puddle of burning napalm.
Yeah,
with your Vietnam flamethrower.
Let me just destroy everything real fast. Be right back.
Yeah. I've had this idea for a company for several years now, and the idea was basically, I looked at what it cost to make flamethrowers. It cost about $1,500 worth of raw materials, a little bit of know-how, but not as much as you would think, and no licensing whatsoever, and I mean none. You don't need a license at all to make them, buy them, or sell them. Just think of it like a propane grill. It's the same classification. Like, even less. There's less certification on these than there is a propane grill. They'd make you make those things safe. So I was like, yeah, we $1,500 each. Get a fucking assembly line. Build 10 of these things. We sell them for $5-6 grand a pop. Like, usually they're $8 or $9 grand. We corner the market on this thing. And the best part is the name of the company, Georgia Thermal Solutions. I was
so misleading.
And everybody's like, well, you can't own that. He's like, it's going to get sued as soon as somebody blows themselves up. I was like, that's the best part. Jeremy, you want to own a company? Oh, hell yeah, man. I ain't never owned a company before. Well, come here. Had that idea for a while, like making the flamethrower company, but everyone tells me it's just too much liability, but I don't think so.
They just have no faith in limited liability companies.
Sell them as just replicas. They're functional replicas, but don't use it. Keep it full and look at it, but don't use it.
I think you just got to be careful about who you sell to, and usually the kind of person who's dropping $10,000 on a toy isn't a psycho. They're going to go back to their place and do it safely and enjoy it with the rest of their really expensive toys.
That's not weird. A safe assumption.
Yeah. No, that's not. I know so many crazy rich people like just would kill themselves.
I like